Hello, you all. I'm Diana Brienne. Is it fantasy or is it reality? I believe that often people enter relationships and they enter them as long as they remain fantasy. And the moment that they become reality, they don't want to be in that relationship anymore. And there are other people that are fine with reality. The fantasy kind of draws them into the relationship, but when it becomes reality, they stay with the relationship. And that's usually how marriages form. Because initially, when we first meet somebody, we have this fantasy idea of who they are and what they're about. And often that's an illusion to a large degree in many cases. And then as time goes on, we find the reality. And sometimes we love the reality. Sometimes the reality is exactly what we're looking for. But it's usually not the fantasy that we started out with. And often internet relationships are based on fantasy, and dating relationships can be based on fantasy. Also affairs, affairs are big time fantasy, and that draws a person in because it's fantasy, it's not reality. It's not the wife or the husband who's doing all the day-to-day practical things that need to be done in a relationship. And so, sometimes people are drawn to fantasy, but we have to remember behind that fantasy is a reality, and sometimes we're not going to like that reality when we meet up with it. Other times we love the reality that we meet up with, and some people don't want reality, they only want fantasy. So I always say, is it fantasy or is it reality, and do you truly want the reality? From my house to yours. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.